Fish are friends, not food.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning somewhere!
for July 18th, 2024. My name is Bernie Burns. We're really quiet today. There's a reason why we're quiet. Sitting right over there, she's angry? Can't tell. I got her up really early, so you never know. Say hi to Ashley, everybody. How are you, Ash?
That's my default state when I'm up early, is just kind of angry at everything.
I learned really early on, do not wake you up early. Just
not
don't do
not
it.
if you have a choice.
So
but you did today.
I did today, but I did today for a very specific reason. I get to do something very cool and very traditional here in Scotland. I'm going today to go fishing. I am going to go fish on the River Spey, which is it is a noble tradition.
Noble.
Can't believe I get to be able to do this. It's really cool.
I love this. I mean, as you were driving along, we'll see people fly fishing in the river every now and again. It always looks like they're very fancy. They've got like tweeds and they got, the caps and everything. It's like a very gentlemanly sport, which I always picture more like, I guess just the way I grew up, more like river runs through it, right? Like you're talking like what, like Brad Pitt in his himbo era?
I always picture a dude in like a speedboat, like catching bass or whatever. Yeah. But there's fly fishing up in your part. This is in the River Spey is fly fishing for salmon. So some of these can get really big. Like last year, we know a guy who caught one that was 30 pounds, massive, out of a river.
Yeah, I bet it was. That's what she said. It's a 30-pounder.
I don't think she's ever. So if everything goes well today, Ashley, and I get a fish, I'm going to have a banging Tinder profile picture.
What is that?
I honestly, Ashley, I don't know. I think guys like to do, they show off things that are important to them. And they don't understand that that's the least important thing to any woman ever.
They're like
most women. There's a lot of women.
You don't
fishers.
understand. Like the ladies are gonna love the size of this fish. They're gonna be so impressed by my ability. Here's what it is: my ability to provide.
It's all value propositions, right? That's what it is. just value propositions.
I gotta demonstrate value.
That's exactly. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Girl, I could catch you a fish.
Or look how much time I will spend out of the house, and I won't be bothering you. I'll be off chasing this fish. You ever see the photo that this person posted, which it was like my father posing with me at my graduation, and it's just some dad. He's like, just at the graduation,
got
attending.
that sort of long suffering, but indulgent face on. Sure, I know the.
And
face.
then it was my dad posing with any fish. The guy's like, But, while we are talking about value propositions, do you mind if I talk about some financial news really quickly?
Ooh, you can bore the fish out of the water. Let's do it.
Well, Nasdeck got hammered yesterday. If you're paying attention, Nasdeck had its worst day since 2022 as tech stocks get slammed. This is from CNN Money. Tech shares slumped Wednesday as investors shed the behemoths that fueled Wall Street's monster stock rally this year. The Nasdaq Composite Index tumbled 2.8% for the whole Nasdaq, but the Dow, oddly enough, was up as people are shifting away from tech stocks, which have just been on a freaking run this year.
There have been a lot of stocks that we've been throwing our hands up, going, "What is happening?" Because they've been soaring, and we're like, "Whoa, okay, great, I guess, but why?" And so, I mean, I guess it's not that surprising there'd be some correction, but
we talked a lot about NVIDIA. So yesterday, NVIDIA was down 6.6% for the day.
Okay, now I did some math. That seems like you did fin math.
Fin?
Well, like financial math, like fintech.
I think financial math is just that. It's just math. It's just this regular old math. But I did some taking their market cap, which has been thrown around as $3 trillion. Them losing 6.6% in a day means they lost
in one day. Okay,
$200 billion. Oh,
jeez. Here's what I need to know, Bernie.
In one day, that's $200 billion gone.
That's a number that I can't really put into like proper context in my head. That number doesn't mean anything. So answer me this, Bernie. How many Celtics is that?
How many
Boston Celtics teams? Because we know the Boston Celtics are up for sale. They're the championship team now. Last I saw, they were worth like $4.7 billion. Let's go ahead and round up for inflation to 5. Make the math easy.
Oh, okay.
Fin math.
Well, I just looked up here. I have a stat that the average NBA team is worth $3.5 billion on average.
Okay.
So yesterday, NVIDIA lost 56 NBA teams. How many teams? 30 teams. So, okay, in financial news, yesterday, NVIDIA lost 2 NBAs. You shouldn't laugh. I mean, it could be the worst day of somebody's life that happened. But wow, crazy.
2 NBAs. And here's the crazy thing, Bernie. One of those NBAs could just come back today.
Right. They could rebound an entire Eastern Conference. Get them all back. So that's crazy. And so the weird part was there was that much, blood in the water for Nasdaq, but the Dow was up. People are just shifting away from tech stocks. And I looked up some other ones. The big loser on the day was actually AMD, which we haven't talked a lot about.
So is just everyone mad at graphics cards?
Yeah. Is that what AMD's doing these days? Is graphic cards?
I don't even know.
It's been a long time since it is NVIDIA and AMD. Yeah, they used to be the classic matchup.
That was like the big thing is what do you do?
Yeah. And AMD doesn't have quite the market cap that NVIDIA does, but they lost 10% yesterday, which is just wild. People are shifting away. But I looked up Apple. Apple had not quite as bad a day where they have only lost like 2 or 3% yesterday. But the weird thing about it is if you look at it over the course of the last 3 months, Apple is up almost 40%, including yesterday.
In 3 months?
Yeah, in 3 months.
Yeah, I guess people are really placing the long bet on those headsets.
This is, by the way, from the stock app on my iPhone. It might be biased. just want to have full disclosure there. But yeah, yesterday Apple lost 2.5%, which is still a ton. It's still a ton in one day, 2.5%. But they're up 37.02% in the last 3 months.
Here's the thing that gets me about a lot of these things, right, is the money, it means something, but it's also invisible money, right?
Well, you mean like it's unrealized or what?
Yeah, kind of.
Like where did that value, is it a change in value or is the money actually gone?
Yes, that's my big question, right? Is what I have trouble wrapping my head around. That money didn't just like poof, walk away, right? It's just that they decided that the value of the thing, because it's based on the value of the stock, right? Like what people are willing to pay for the stock at this time.
Right.
And so it's just what people decide. So it's a kind of a pretend number. It's a number that we all agree is real, but it's not. Until
you sell it, you don't realize anything. You don't realize a gain, you don't realize a loss until you actually sell it.
Right.
So has it gone down? Yes, but it's kind of gone down on paper.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better because these are just such large numbers that we're talking about that the idea of that many hundreds of billions of dollars just walking out the door is I have trouble wrapping my head around what that would mean for people.
Here's a weird article. So I was looking at this article right here in front of me. I'm just reading it as we're talking about the average NBA team is worth about $3.5 billion. Which was up 35% from a year ago. And this article is from late 2023. What do you think is the most valuable team in the entire NBA?
Well, at this point, I would calculate it in Celtics, yeah.
Because they're the champion,
yes.
Right? And they're going for, what did you say, like $4.5 billion? According to this article on Forbes, the most valuable team at $7.7 billion is the Golden State Warriors.
Is it because they're actually made out of gold?
And that was before the last season of the NBA. But the Boston Celtics won the championship, so you thought they would have overtaken them.
Well, keep in mind as well that the latest valuation of the Celtics, I think probably one, predates the championship, and two, won't be. That's another one of those pretend numbers. We won't actually know the value of the Celtics until they're actually sold.
Yeah, it's a good point. And just to update my numbers, that they would have only lost 28 Golden State Warriors. That's it. Yesterday in the stock market.
Just one NBA full of Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, but it's fascinating. It's like I haven't seen the market perform like that. One of the indexes perform like that, and the other one was doing just fine and like just chugging along like normal. In fact, the Dow is still setting records at this point in time. So yeah, so that's your financial news for the day.
That is wild and fun and very, very volatile. So we'll see what happens when the markets open and what they decide to do in terms of the hundreds of billions today.
And we have to blame whoever's in office or say thanks, Dow's up, but the Nasdaq's down. So thanks, Biden, or hey,
I'm sorry that happened.
or
to
hey,
you.
thanks, Biden. Either one. Whatever flavor of thanks, Biden, you want to take.
Speaking of things, I have some bones to pick with you, Bernie. I have a couple of bones.
Hey, did you hear about Tenacious D?
I'm going to allow you to distract me with that, but we're coming back to the bones.
You can talk to me about your bones. I want to clear the air about this anyway.
Okay. So there's two bones in particular, but let's start with an easy
So
one.
Kyle Gass was on stage. You're literally being gaslighted. All right, go ahead.
So you went on a road trip, and you went and you
Performing
had
family business
financial meeting.
For the family.
Calculating all kinds of
Doesn't happen on its own.
Celtics.
You think
and
these
stuff.
NBA calculations just come out of the ether? Takes a spreadsheet, baby.
And that was yesterday. I talked to you today, and I suggested that we should go see Inside Out 2. We've heard so much about. We've talked so much about. I feel like we've spent more time on this podcast talking about Inside Out 2 than it would take to actually watch the movie. It's everyone who comes out of the movie says this is a great movie. You should go watch it. So even though this isn't the kind of movie that was on my list, is like I'm super hyped to watch this. We should go watch this. And
You're
what
rushing
did you tell
through your
me?
opening statement here. I just want to say this.
What did you tell
A
me?
lot of information. You're rushing through your opening statement.
Am I?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Faster than a New Mexico prosecuting attorney. Speaking of which, go ahead. Go ahead.
What did you tell me that you did? Say
In
it.
brief,
Say it.
I saw Inside Out too. Because I was getting out of my meeting and we learned when we went to go see Avatar, Way of the Water. We showed up for the movie 20 minutes late.
Yeah, 20 minutes,
We were
25 minutes.
We were 20 minutes late to the movie, and the movie was just about to start. So I learned that you can do that. And Inside Out 2 was just about to start, so I had time to drive to the theater, which was on the way home, and I caught Inside Out. Was only there for an hour and a half and watched the movie, and then came home because can I give a rationalization?
Continue.
Here?
Yep.
Because we were in Aberdeen, and I said we were in front of a movie theater, and I said, "Hey, Inside Out 2, we keep talking about this on our podcast that we lovingly make together every morning, and we enjoy very much. Do you want to go see Inside Out 2? I think it would be relevant to our interests." And you said, "I don't want to see that movie."
I didn't. No, I said
I took that as a blanket statement.
You did
no.
because I said no. The reason I said no on that day was to get home to the kids. All right. And what you
The
did
term gaslighting refers to when
is you thought, should I get back to my family and help them out in their times of need? No, I'm going to go see a movie and then
I'm doing work. I'm working all day.
then not tell Ashley about it.
I was trying to find the right moment to tell you. How did you find out if I didn't tell you? Clearly, I told you.
I suggested we go see it, and then you had to admit that, Bernie, you saw it.
You know what? Technically, I didn't have to admit it. I chose to admit it. So I think I should get a lot of credit for doing this. If you think about it, me going to see it Inside Out 2 was a long setup to show you how I was going to admit things to you that I don't. Also, I do want to point out, Ashley, that there's many new emotions in Inside Out 2. But
I wouldn't know because I haven't seen it.
well, then I'll just tell you. Let me tell you, guilt is not one of them. So I don't know how to process this. I haven't been told by Hollywood how to process guilt, so I'm just going to ignore it entirely.
I'm pretty sure guilt doesn't come until Inside Out 3, the college years.
Oh, there's a really funny bit in Inside Out 2 about an emotion that's not supposed to be there yet. And it's like a running gag they keep doing. You wouldn't get it, though, because you haven't seen it.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you enjoy it.
You know, Ashley, look, I'm going to be really honest with you, though. Seriously here. I don't think you should hold this against me because I think it's really important to be able to talk about mental health. I think that you're preventing me from doing that and exploring that. So really, honestly, shame on you. Shame on you.
Now to the second thing is we've been missing a set of car keys for...
What is this? Couples therapy?
It is now. That's okay because you know exactly how to process this. For what, months now?
Let's talk about expressing a cat's anal glands.
Let's do that instead.
No. We've been looking for a set of car keys. We have 2 keys for the car, and one of them has just been missing.
One of them also has a key ring on it. That's my fob, as they're called. That's what the kids call them. They call them fobs, not remotes. We used to call them remotes. The kids are like, they're all about the fobs. My fob has a key ring on it. Your fob does not. And which one was missing?
Mine.
Well, there you go. End of story.
Now,
You're forgiven.
it's been missing for months, right? And you were like, Ashley, I need you to go through your jackets and go.
1 month.
You need to find. It's been more than that. You need to find that key. You need to find your key, Ashley. And I was like, I don't think you understand. Everyone uses all the keys. It's just they go in the bin. People use the keys. It is my key, but it's not just my key. And I looked through every jacket I own. I looked through all my bags. I went through my backpacks. I went through everything. No key. I had to tell you, Bernie, I don't have this key. Where'd you find the key, Bernie?
I'll steal it!
Found the key in my backpack. Once again, I need to explain. I can't just give the simple answer.
Why not?
It was in my backpack that I used to travel to America last month in order to send out all the Patreon coins for America. That's where I was, which is why, for some reason, I don't know why, I had your key and it was in my backpack.
So
because I drove myself to the airport because somebody, after years of marriage, it doesn't drive me to the airport.
I drive to the airport all the time.
Yeah,
I didn't drive to the
She
airport
does.
that particular time. So what you're saying
Well,
is
I'm glad
that
you can admit
took
it.
my
It's okay.
key.
I forgive you.
You took my key to a foreign country.
It's not how dare you, foreign country?
It's foreign to the key.
It's America. It's where cars were invented. It was coming home, Ashley. Yeah, guess what? I watched Deadpool versus Wolverine on the plane, too. There's nothing is sacred. I'll spoil House of the Dragons for you, too. All right, I'm sorry I had your key. I don't know why I had your key and why you had my key and why it was hidden in my backpack. But I think that was a simple mistake to make, and I'm sorry I held you accountable for it.
Apology accepted.
I will help you steal manure. What, quarter pile. That's all you're getting. Quarter pile. That's all that's worth. All right, I don't know what else we can talk about today. I got to go catch some fish, or not catch some fish. I got to go stand in a river and talk about why I'm not catching fish.
Just explain to the fish about how many airlines they could buy with the difference in NVIDIA stock in one day. You can bore them straight out of the river.
I do wonder how many industries fall under that. Like, there's got to be countries that are under that for their GDP in the world.
Probably. I'm looking at this right now, Brittany. So American Airlines has a market cap of $7.2 billion. So if you wrap up all of the airlines in America, the change in NVIDIA stock value in its market cap in a single day could buy the U.S. airline industry.
Wow. That's insane.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That is insane.
It's like you said, it's just like it's a foozy, fuzagazi, or whatever.
And then today, when the market's open, I could be back.
By the way, these numbers are so big. Typing 3 trillion is an effort to figure out how to type that number.
Like you have to count the zeros, and it's a lot.
Zero, that's 1,000, 0, 0, 0, 100,000, 0, 0, 0, million, 0, 0, 0, billion. It's just like, holy cow. It just keeps going and going. Let me see here. This is from Wikipedia. These are millions of dollars. So what would be 200 billion in millions of dollars? Holy cow. It would be 200,000 million, right? That would be, yeah. So only 57 countries out of 188 on this list have a GDP of higher than $200 billion.
Higher than the difference in market cap in a single day.
In a day. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
The world we live in makes absolutely no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to have so much trouble explaining this to the fish today when I meet them. I'm going to be like, guys, you're not going to believe this. All right. Well, we could talk about the Tenacious D thing tomorrow. I wanted to talk about it, but we'll just talk about it tomorrow instead.
Yeah, I feel like I need to process, like think about it. I need to think.
Yeah.
I got to think.
I think financial news and marital counseling is enough for one day.
So I would like to thank today's sponsors, Jason Vrapchniak, who, by the way, has told me that I nailed that last name. So a little self-five here. And Tyler Hewson for sponsoring this episode of Morning Somewhere at patreon.com/Morning Somewhere. Thank you both for sponsoring this episode of the show.
Thank you both very much, very, very much for supporting our Patreon. All right, well, that does it for us today, July 18th, 2024. We will be back tomorrow with many fish in hand to talk to you. We hope you'll be here as well.
Bye, everybody.